Hi everyone, my name is Jane and welcome to a new video. So, whether you are goth or not, I am sure that you have seen this before. The guys on the internet that keep saying that they want a goth girlfriend. And I honestly feel like these people who ask for a goth girlfriend do not actually understand what they are asking for. So I thought today I will explain what a goth girlfriend is really like. And I will just explain in detail what to expect from a goth girl and what not to expect from a goth girlfriend. And also in this video I will give some tips about how to approach a goth girl, because a lot of people have asked me to say something about that. So for the guys who really want a goth girlfriend, even after I've explained all of these things, I will give you some tips at the end of this video. If you like the content that I make, please check out my Instagram. I post a lot of stories and I post some reels and I post some selfies on there, so please do follow me on there, and also consider getting a membership on my YouTube channel, because that will give you exclusive benefits on my channel. I'm also really hoping that you can't hear the children screaming in my video, because there are children playing in the playground by my house and they are screaming so loud, it's so annoying, but I really hope you can't hear that on the recording. So now let's begin talking about goth girlfriends. So firstly, let me just say that I think wanting a goth girlfriend is fine as long as you want them for the right reasons and as long as your expectations are realistic, because there is a lot of misconceptions about goth girls, and the kind of guys who go onto social media and say they want a goth girlfriend because she will be freaky and kinky, those are the type of guys that we do not like. Like, as goths, we do not like those kind of guys. But if, for example, you really want a goth girlfriend because you are a goth yourself, or because you're really into goth stuff like the goth music or something goth, then I can understand why you would want a goth girlfriend, because obviously you want a partner who is into the same stuff as that you are. Like, obviously you want to have some interests that are the same as your partner's. So I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting a goth girlfriend if you have the correct expectations. So here's what you can expect if you want, or if you're getting a goth girlfriend. Firstly, a very simple, very quick explanation of what goth is. What is a goth girl? So that you just understand what we're talking about here. So a goth is a person who is part of a subculture that is about goth music. That's right, goth is based on music. So no, the fashion is not the most important part. If you are wondering what is goth music, look up one of these bands: Susanna Banshees, Bauhaus, London After Midnight, Sisters of Mercy. Look them up, listen to one of those songs, and you will understand what goth music is. Because it might not be what you expect, because a lot of people think goth music is just metal, but goth music is not metal. It's not the same thing. So please, if you are really interested in getting a goth girl, I think it's important to know at least what we are talking about. It's a girl who is into goth music, which is one of the bands that I just named, and there's a lot of more bands that are goth, but these are like the big popular ones. So yeah, now you have an understanding of what a goth is into. There is obviously also gothic fashion, which is what goths are very much known for. Like the big eyeliner and the black clothes and all that sort of stuff. That is gothic fashion. That is not a necessary part of the goth subculture. That is not what makes a person goth. Dressing in black and wearing eyeliner is not what makes a person goth. So the goth fashion is something that you see a lot. Like, a lot of goths do wear goth fashion. Like, a lot of goths do wear black. Like, take me for an example. I do wear black a lot. I wear black lipstick, eyeliner, whatever. But please remember that not every goth looks like this, okay? Keep that in mind and remember it, because I'm gonna elaborate on that later in this video. One thing that is very, very important is that there is a lot of misconceptions about the goth subculture and about goth girls. And you might actually want a goth girlfriend because you believe in one of these misconceptions. Like, maybe you want a goth girlfriend for a reason that is actually incorrect. Like, it's actually an incorrect assumption of goth girls. So I will give you a quick list of things that you will likely not get if you're getting a goth girlfriend. So I will just give you a quick list and then I will elaborate on all these topics. So things that you will most likely not get in a goth girlfriend: someone who is into BDSM or kink, a mentally ill girl, an e-girl, a girl who dresses goth 24/7, a girl who is into witchcraft, and a girl who will ask for your blood so she can either put a curse on you or make a love potion. Oh, by the way, that last thing is not a guarantee. Like, please do not take my word on that, because there's no guarantees that your goth girlfriend will not actually sacrifice you. One thing that is very important to say before I go on is that not every goth girl is the same, just like every other girl is not the same. And I'm kind of generalizing here, because I'm saying that a goth girl will not give you this, but there might be some goths who do have some of these things or who are into some of these things, but mostly they aren't. And all of these things are misconceptions about the goths and are also, very important, unrelated to goths. So basically there's just no correlation between a goth and these things. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So yeah, there might be goth girls who are like this, but that is unrelated to them being goth. And one thing that people always seem to forget is that you can find a lot of these things in normal girls, in girls who are not goth. You do not have to find a goth girlfriend if you want someone who is into kink, or if you want someone who has a crazy style, or if you want someone who is into horror movies. You do not need a goth girlfriend for that. There are so many girls who are not goth who are also into those things and who are maybe even more into those things than goth girls are. So please just remember that you do not need a goth girl, because there are so many girls who are into the same stuff that you are looking for. So the most common reason that men say that they want a goth girlfriend is because they think all goth girls are hot and they're attractive and they are into kink and they're into BDSM and they have, I don't know, daddy issues or something. That is the most common reason that men say that they want a goth girlfriend, because they think a goth will be like that. But please know that this is a complete misconception. And I really hope that people will stop believing these things, because they are just not true and very harmful. Now, maybe you actually believe these things because you've seen TikToks like these.
He tried it.
As if goth girls are something to get. A lot of people think that goths are just some kind of object. People objectify goths, people fetishize goths. I've definitely seen a lot of videos of goth girls, or girls who say they are goth, saying like, goths love to be choked and goths have daddy issues and goths love to be submissive and all that type of stuff. And of course men are super into that, and men are like, yeah, I want a goth girlfriend because she'll be like that and it's so hot and whatever. But these girls who make these videos aren't goth. Like, at least they do not understand what goth is if they say those kind of things, because actual goths do not like to be seen as an object. At least most goths do not want to be treated as an object just for the fact that they are into a certain type of music and just for the fact that they are goth. Girls don't actually like that. Goth girls, real actual goth girls, do not like to be seen that way. And the girls who make these kind of videos are just wrong. They are causing harm to actual goths and they are causing harm to the rest of the goth community by saying these type of things. So I really hope people will stop making these videos and people will stop believing these videos, because these things are not gothic traits at all, like in any way. Wanting a goth girlfriend for these reasons is fetishization. It's objectifying goths, and 99% of the goths do not want that. There are just some girls who use the fact that they are goth, or there are girls who act like they are goth just to appeal to men, just to seem more attractive. And it should not be seen as a fetish, okay? That is one thing that is the most important thing of all this video. Do not fetishize goths, because you will not get a goth girlfriend, because goths do not like if you objectify them. And a lot of people do not understand why this is harmful, but just listen. A lot of goth girls are getting gross messages online, are getting gross comments online. Goth girls are being stalked. Goth girls are being harassed, like verbally, but also physically, which is just awful. And goth girls are being approached in gross ways because people think that goth girls are into that stuff. But we aren't. Goth girls aren't into that stuff. At least it's not a goth thing to be into that. And just because we are goth doesn't mean that you can cross boundaries and approach a goth girl in a gross way. So please always remember to treat goth girls like a normal girl. Treat them like a normal person, because after all, a goth girl is still a girl. It's a woman, is a person with certain interests, which is not necessarily kink and whatever. They're interested in goth music and in goth subculture and maybe in goth fashion. Goth girls are not necessarily into kink. And if you're searching for someone who is, that is fine. Of course, you can want a partner who is into the same stuff as you are. But if you want someone who is into kink, then you're not looking for a goth girlfriend, okay? You should go to places that is actually about kink and not about goth, because goth and kink are not the same thing. There are definitely goth girls who are into that. Definitely they exist, but there's also girls who are not goth who are into that. So you do not need to specifically look for a goth girlfriend if you're looking for someone who's into kink. So if you're looking for that, please do not go around saying you want a goth girlfriend, because that is wrong and that is not what you're looking for. So another thing why goths are very loved is because of their fashion, because of their style, because goths look awesome, goths look great. I love the gothic style, and a lot of other people do too, and a lot of boys are into that as well and want a partner who looks that way, which I think is very understandable because yeah, goths do look very great. But I'm sorry to break it to you, but goths do not actually look like that all the time. Goth people only look goth 10% of the time, or maybe even less than that. Most goths do not actually bother to do their makeup every day because it takes a lot of time to do your eyeliner like this, to do your black lipstick so it actually looks good, just like any other normal person. If you're going to work or if you're having a lazy day at home, nobody is going to do makeup or their hair. Like, nobody does that because it's just sitting at home or it's just work. Nobody goes to work in goth makeup because obviously it doesn't look very professional. Like, if you're a tattoo artist or if you work in like certain professions, you can probably go to work with a lot more makeup than a doctor would get away with. But most goths do not actually do their makeup to work or on their lazy days, or even if they're going out sometimes, they just don't feel like doing their makeup. And also, goth clothes, like the goth fashion, is not something that goths wear every day, and it's even something that not all goths wear, because as I said, goth is about music, and not everyone who is goth and who calls themselves a goth actually wears black all the time and actually wears makeup and actually looks like a goth. A lot of goths are invisible goths, so people who are actually a goth but who do not look like it, or actually who you would not recognize as a goth because they do not wear gothic fashion. But they are still a goth because goth is about music and it's about mindset and it's about the subculture itself, and it's not necessarily about the fashion. So not every goth girl looks goth, and goth girls who do look goth sometimes do not look goth 24/7. The gothic clothes is also something that a lot of people can agree is not the most comfortable, because a lot of goth things like fishnets, I personally do not like the feeling of these. I like the look of them and I love wearing them, but I would not wear these on a lazy day. I would not wear them to work because they're not the most comfortable thing ever. Just like chokers. Chokers is a thing that a lot of goths like to wear, but they are super, super uncomfortable. So, of course, your goth girlfriend is not gonna walk around in that 24/7. So yeah, if you're wishing for a goth girlfriend, she is not going to look goth 24/7. So if you like the way she looks as a goth, I really hope you like the way she looks as a not goth too, because most of the time she will not look like a goth. It is just not the most comfortable, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, and people in their daily life just don't do that effort. Like, people just don't do that. So if you want a goth girlfriend for only that reason, I think it's best not to get a goth girlfriend, because you will only like the way she looks 10% of the time. If that is really what you want, like a goth girl who always looks like that. You will just not get that. That is unrealistic, and that is not something that you should expect from a goth girl. Speaking about eyeliner, there is a lot of confusion with the guys who want a goth girlfriend between e-girls and goths. Because what a lot of people have noticed is that when a guy declares that he wants a goth girlfriend, he actually means an e-girl. And an e-girl is just a girl who wears a bit of eyeliner and does some pretty dances for her TikTok or whatever. But these girls are not goth, okay guys? Like, these girls that I'm showing right now are not goth. Wearing eyeliner is not goth fashion, and having colored hair is not goth. So if you want a girl who looks like this, you want an e-girl and not a goth girl, because those are not the same thing. So yeah, before you wish for a goth girl, please know the difference between e-girls and goth girls, because saying you want a goth girl and showing a picture of this, that is not goth. So I think you're wrong about wanting a goth girl. Another thing that I'm seeing a lot is that people say, like, watch out for goth girls because she will drink your blood or whatever, or she will put a curse on you. But not all goth girls are into witchcraft. Witchcraft and goth is not the same thing. Not every goth is into witchcraft. So no, getting a goth girlfriend will not guarantee that she will put spells on you, or that she will draw a pentacle on the floor with candles around it and lay you in it and draw your blood and sacrifice you to Satan. That is not something that you will get from a goth girl most of the time. So another thing you do not need to expect from a goth girl is that she is mentally ill. I've seen this so many times. People online saying they can't wait to get with a goth girl who is mentally ill so they can fix them or whatever. Mental illness is not a goth thing. being depressed is not a goth thing. Not all goths are depressed, not all goths are mentally ill. It's not related. Many goths are happy, many goths are not mentally ill, many goths are mentally fine. It's actually insane to want someone because they are mentally unwell. Like, to want a partner who is not doing well is just so weird and selfish. Because if you actually love someone, if you actually want to love someone, you want them to be happy. You want them to be mentally well. So wishing for a partner who is mentally unwell is just sick. Why do you want someone who is mentally ill? Like, I think you need to look inside of yourself for a second if you want a goth girl who is mentally ill. Because why do you want that? Like, you should not want someone just so you can fix them. Because you should wish a partner who is happy. Because nobody who is actually in love with someone wishes their partner to be mentally unwell. What you should expect from a goth girl is that she probably has weird interests, which is what a lot of people are not prepared for when they get a goth girl. Guys want a goth girl because they think, oh, I can say I have a goth girlfriend and she looks pretty and she's probably freaky and whatever. But people are often not prepared for what they will get when they get a goth girl. Because goths have weird interests, okay? We are goth for a reason. We are into weird stuff. A lot of goth girls are into dark things. Goth girls can be really into skulls, like I am, or really into death, or at least they are very interested in death and they're very comfortable with being around death or talking about death. Some girls like to go to cemeteries or that kind of weird stuff, at least weird in most people's eyes. So be prepared for that if you want a goth girlfriend. She will probably be into a lot of weird stuff or into a lot of creepy stuff. So yeah, be prepared for that, especially when you walk into the girl's room for the first time. Who knows what you'll find. Maybe she has a collection of coffins like I do. Again, not every single goth girl is into these things. It's kind of a thing that a lot of goth girls are into, but not every single goth girl is necessarily into those things, but it's kind of something that you need to be prepared for, okay? Because a lot of goth girls are definitely comfortable with dark things. So that is kind of most of the misconceptions about goth girlfriends that I wanted to talk about. Now, if you're a person who is still excited to get a goth girlfriend, despite all the things that I just told you, and you still really want a goth girlfriend, here's some tips on how to approach a goth girl without scaring her away. So, step 1, approach her like you would approach a normal girl. A goth girl isn't necessarily special. A goth girl isn't different from other girls, especially not in relationship stuff. So there's not really a special way to approach goth girls, but I will give some more tips because some people really do not understand how to approach girls. Step 2, don't treat her like an object. Treat her like a woman. Treat her like someone you want to be with. Don't treat her like some kind of object that you want to do stuff with. Because if you actually want a goth girlfriend, like you want a girlfriend, you don't want her to think that you only want her for one thing, you know? You want her to know that you are actually interested in her as a whole and not just because she is goth. Also, kind of clarify that you do not have any gross intentions, so please do not say things about BDSM or kink and don't say anything about her body. Just make clear that your intentions are not like gross. Step 3. One thing that I would recommend that you do is give her a compliment on her style or her interest. Because a lot of goth girls are actually bullied a lot or actually judged a lot because they kind of have weird interests and a weird style. So a goth girl will definitely appreciate a compliment. But things you can compliment are, for example, her accessories that she's wearing or that she has with her, or her hair or her makeup, or maybe her shoes or something. But just do not give any compliments about her body or about anything in that direction because she will not appreciate that. So give a compliment, but do not make it creepy. Step 4, do not force it. If she's not interested, you can find another girl who can give you what you want. As I said before, most things that guys look for in goth girls are also things in girls who are not goth. So if you're looking for someone who likes horror and a goth girl is not interested in you, you can just find someone who's into that who is not goth, or you can find another goth who will be into you. But please just do not be too desperate to want a goth girl because that is just kind of sad and you do not necessarily need a goth girl. Step 5. You do not need to know everything about goth and the goth subculture if you want a goth girlfriend. There's no need to study every single goth band or every single song from Bauhaus, and you do not need to read Edgar Allan Poe to impress a goth girl. If you do know something about the goth subculture or about one of the artists or about something goth, definitely talk about that because, well, it's kind of nice to talk about things that you are both interested in, but just make sure that you do not speak about any misconceptions. Like, don't go up to her saying like, how's your relationship with Satan going? Or how are you doing with your depression since you're goth? Like, do not approach her with any misconceptions. Just make sure that you know what goth is before you start talking about it. Because if you're gonna mention misconceptions, she will most likely not appreciate that. But yeah, if you do know something about the goth subculture, definitely mention it to her. She will definitely like it. But you do not have to know everything about goth subculture. Because one thing about goths is that they do not necessarily want someone who is also goth. A lot of goth girls are very much into normal guys or into guys who are not necessarily goth. So you do not have to be a goth yourself, and you do not have to know everything about goth if you want a goth girlfriend. Like, most goth girls just want a partner who is good for them, and we do not necessarily want someone who is also super goth. So do not be stressed about that. You do not need to do some incredible research before you start approaching goth girls. Step 7, the most important step, just be yourself. Just remember to be yourself, show who you are, show what you can give that girl in a relationship, and just, be who you are and show to her what you are interested in and what you are like. Because that is what a girl wants, is for you to be yourself and show yourself, so she can kind of know what to expect from you, and she can know if she's interested in you, and she can get to know you and get to love you, maybe even. So yeah, maybe not the best guide for approaching goth girls, but this is kind of what I think you should do if you want to approach a goth girl. Just kind of keep it simple, don't do anything crazy, and you'll be just fine. It's not all that special to be a goth girl. Like, there's nothing super special about goth girls, like some people think there is. Good, so that is pretty much everything I wanted to say about goth girlfriends and what to expect from them and how to approach them. So I really hope I helped some people with this video. I really hope that some people at least have a better understanding of what to expect from a goth girlfriend now. And yeah, just think really well about why you want a goth girlfriend and what you're searching for, and if you will actually find that in a goth girl, or if you could maybe also get someone who is not goth, or if you should stop saying that you want a goth girlfriend because you want her for the wrong reasons. So yeah, hopefully you guys learned some things from this video, or hopefully you guys agree with what I'm saying if you're a goth yourself, because I know that a lot of goth girls want there to be more awareness about this, and a lot of goth girls want more people to know that they are not what people think they are most of the time. Please let me know what you think about all of this in the comments down below, and just please let me know your experiences with all this. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out my Instagram and my memberships on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment on the video, subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye!